Imagine committing the very first crime in human history. No police, no prisons, no laws. So, what happened to the world's first criminal? Stay until the end because the answer is much older and stranger than you think. Before cities, before kings, before money, humans lived in small tribes where everyone depended on each other to survive. If one hunter refused to help, everyone could starve. Trust wasn't optional, it was survival. But wherever humans live, conflict eventually follows. Jealousy, greed, anger, those emotions are as old as humanity itself. One bad decision could change an entire tribe forever. But was the first crime actually murder? The evidence we're about to uncover is over 10,000 years old, and archaeologists are still trying to solve this mystery. Let's investigate the oldest crime scene in history. Scientists found a skeleton with a shocking injury. Part 2. The oldest murder mystery. Imagine you're an archaeologist. You uncover a human skeleton buried for over 10,000 years. At first, everything looks normal, until you notice something terrifying. A sharp stone point was still lodged inside the bones. This person didn't die naturally. Someone attacked them. Scientists have discovered many prehistoric skeletons with deadly injuries, arrow wounds, broken skulls, even defensive fractures. Violence existed long before written history. But here's the mystery. Was it murder, an accident, or a fight over food? No one knows for sure. Back then, there were no detectives, no fingerprints, no witnesses. The evidence disappeared with time. But if violence kept happening, humanity needed something completely new. Rules. And those rules would change history forever. The first written laws punished crimes over 4,000 years ago. Part 3. The birth of justice. Violence wasn't going away. As villages grew larger, arguments became more dangerous. People needed a way to stop endless revenge. If one family attacked another, the other family attacked back, then another, and another. Revenge could last for generations. Then, everything changed. Someone had an idea that would reshape civilization forever. Instead of revenge, there would be rules. Rules that everyone had to follow. The world's first laws had arrived. One of the oldest known law codes was created nearly 4,100 years ago by a ruler named Ur-Nammu. But another ruler would create the most famous law code in history. And one rule became legendary: an eye for an eye. But were these laws actually fair? Part 4. The Code of Hammurabi. Around 3,750 years ago, a Babylonian king named Hammurabi carved nearly 300 laws into a giant stone monument. Anyone could read them, and no one could claim they didn't know the rules. These laws covered almost everything: theft, marriage, business, property, even what happened if someone built a house that collapsed. Stealing wasn't just considered wrong, it threatened the survival of the entire community. Punishments were meant to stop others from copying the crime. One of the most famous rules became known around the world: an eye for an eye. But many people misunderstand what it actually meant. The idea wasn't to encourage revenge. It was to limit punishment. The punishment should fit the crime. No more, no less. For the first time in history, justice wasn't left to anger alone. It was written into law. But did these laws actually stop crime? The answer is surprising. Crime never disappeared. So why do people still break the law? Part 5. Why humans commit crimes. Even after laws were written, crime didn't disappear. So why do people still break the rules? The answer begins with human nature. Thousands of years ago, people stole food, not always because they were evil, but because they were hungry. Others fought over land, water, animals. anything their families needed to survive. Some crimes were driven by fear, others by greed, and some happened in moments of anger that lasted only seconds, but changed lives forever. Technology has changed, cities have changed, but human emotions have changed very little. Maybe the first crime wasn't just about one person. Maybe it revealed something every generation has struggled with: the battle between instinct and choice. But what was the first recorded crime in written history? Part 6. Meet the world's first known criminals. So, who was the first criminal whose crime was actually written down? To find out, we have to travel nearly 5,000 years into the past, to ancient Mesopotamia. By then, people had invented something revolutionary: writing. For the first time, history could remember names. Most tablets recorded taxes, trade, and food supplies, but some recorded crimes. Some of the oldest surviving records describe theft, fraud, bribery, and corruption, even 5,000 years ago. It turns out, people haven't changed as much as we like to think. The crimes became more complicated, but human nature stayed surprisingly familiar. But one ancient case shocked archaeologists, because it wasn't just theft, it was murder. Inside a royal palace, a king, a palace, and an unsolved murder. Part 7. The Ancient Murder Mystery. One of history's oldest murder investigations. Didn't happen in a dark alley. It happened inside a royal palace, and the victim was a king. Around 3,200 years ago, Pharaoh Ramesses III became the target of a deadly conspiracy, not by enemies, but by people inside his own palace. The plan was simple: kill the king, put another prince on the throne, and seize absolute power. For centuries, nobody knew whether the assassination actually worked, until modern science uncovered the truth. The scans revealed a deep cut across the pharaoh's throat. The conspiracy had succeeded. The king had been murdered. And here's the incredible part: the conspirators were caught, tried, and punished. Even over 3,000 years ago, no one was above the law. So, what was humanity's first crime? Final part 8, the answer. So, what was the very first crime in human history? The honest answer is, we may never know. It happened long before writing existed. No cameras, no witnesses, no written records, only bones, broken tools, and clues buried beneath the earth. But every discovery tells us one thing: as soon as humans lived together, there were choices: to help or to harm. Those choices created trust, friendship, justice, and sometimes crime. The first crime wasn't important because of who committed it. It was important because it forced humanity to create laws, courts, and civilization itself. Maybe the biggest mystery isn't who committed the first crime. It's this: if you had lived 10,000 years ago, would you have made the same choice? What do you think? What was the first crime in history? Tell us your theory in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us for more incredible stories from history. See you in the next episode of History in Minutes.